Given the fact that I'm sure the majority of you don't want to spend $300+ to buy a console and a single game, I decided to make a video more optional than the ones I've already posted. This, alongside the fact that this isn't a review or analysis and I need to start being more original, or as the case may be, stealing from someone else, I decided to summarize the plot and such of Castlevania Lords of Shadow so you don't have to spend long hours watching a playthrough or spend loads of money you don't want to, assuming you even listen to me. Besides, I need to use my new toy for something. The game opens talking about how humanity is in peril due to a dark time. Captain Picard tells you that the struggle between good and evil is eternal and rambles on about pious lies, balance, and other such things. After the tutorial combat sequence, where you learn Gabriel seeks a lady, or guardian of the lake, you find out that his wife was murdered by some evil force, and that is why he seeks to cure the world of whatever problem it is and get his wife back. He finds the guardian of the lake, which happens to be the old god Pan, which isn't nearly as godlike and more of a demigod. You take a test, and during the vision, Gabriel kills his wife, and when he turns to the camera, his face is covered with a creepy scaly mask. He wonders what it meant, but Pan decides to be unhelpful and tells you where you need to go to learn about the problems of the world. After a battle with an ice titan, you meet Zobek, voiced by Patrick Stewart and narrator. You talk with Gabriel's wife and find out that heaven has been blocked off from Earth by the Lords of Shadow, and in order to restore the connection, Gabriel must go and defeat the different Lords of Shadow in order to collect pieces of the god mask, which can also bring his wife back from the dead. Anyhow, he heads off to kill the first Lords of Shadow, which is the Lycanthrope King. As he journeys, he meets a girl with telepathic powers who is really old and has a large black knight construct thing guarding her. She guides you through, and afterwards, she says she accepts her fate, and in a dream, Gabriel kills her. He didn't want to kill her, but since the knight wouldn't listen, Gabriel kills the knight and takes the gauntlet that has dark power associated with it. He goes and eventually confronts the King of the Lycans, who reveals that they are the evil of the founders of the Brotherhood of Light, and if you kill him, you slay the Ascended Brotherhood members. As a player, I say, he's evil. Why would you believe him? But since Zobek seems so determined to believe him, there really isn't much of an option. After receiving some new boots, and 2 utterly pointless levels later, you reach the land of the vampires. Upon reaching a rather Van Helsing-esque village, you find out that the abbot has locked an ultimate weapon against the vampires up in an abbey and refuses to see anyone, to the point where he even uses dark magic to set traps to prevent people from seeing him. This, of course, doesn't stop you, and you retrieve the weapon, which is holy water, despite the fact that when you throw the flask, blue fire explodes. You travel to the vampire's castle and ascend to the top, having a near-death experience with a kid vampire who lets you live because you love your wife, and fight the second Lord of Shadow, who is the Queen of the Vampires. No, she doesn't sparkle. You then go and head off and find the land of the dead with more cryptic words from Pan, and after some wandering and doing some fetching for Baba Yaga, who Zobek kills to cleanse the land of evil off-camera, you are teleported to the land of the dead, which is really close to hell. You reach the gates and are forced to fight and kill Pan because Pan basically sacrificing himself so you can save the world. Redemption requires sacrifice, he says, as the land of the dead is open to you. After some nasty creatures in a strange landscapes, and after flying around a giant undead dragon, you find that Zobek, who has been following you the whole time, is the final Lord of Shadow. He is the Lord of the Dead, and used Gabriel the whole time to set out his master plan that isn't his plan. He forced Gabriel to kill his wife unknowingly, and used him to kill the Lords of Shadows, and obtain parts of the God Mask so that he can have the ultimate power! Except he got that idea from Satan, who goes and kills him and takes the mask for himself. Meanwhile, Gabriel's wife is convincing spirits to revive him so he can battle Satan. Gabriel goes and confronts Satan, stating that God loves and is willing to forgive those who go to him. Satan attempts to claim Gabriel, but Gabriel kicks the crap out of Satan. Gabriel then discovers that he can't actually bring back the dead, but he does release the world of evil, and the God Mask is taken back to heaven. Were that the end of things, I would be really happy, but as all things go nowadays, there's a scene after the credits. Within the scene, Zobek, who is somehow still alive and confronts a shady character who he refers to as a Prince of Darkness. He then calls him Gabriel, and the man says not to call him by that name, instead calling him something El Dracul. But not before you see a transparent image of Gabriel's face over his, thus implying that Gabriel became evil. Zobek tells him that Satan's on the rise again, and some other stuff about how Gabriel's not alive but not truly dead, and blah 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 blah. Whatever the case, I can't understand how they can screw up the whole feel in the character after the bloody credits! I mean, come on, if they had Gabriel looking at the evil mask Zobek was wearing and then cutting to black, that would have been fine. But flat out stating that he becomes a vampire like Prince of Darkness, even though he was good the whole time, is just pathetic. He was going on about how he did not want to kill innocent people. Either way, though, the story is still really good and very compelling. I just hope that they're going to be able to make it right if they do come out with a second one.